What's going on, and welcome to the Wake Up Warrior podcast. If we're being honest, we all go through tough times. Check out today's morning minute because if we're being honest, we're not always honest. I want you to go on a quick ride with me. I'm sure we've all had low moments. Maybe not the lowest you've ever had, but a very low moment. And for me, I can only describe it as almost being trapped under a tree. And I think we can all imagine that, where you feel like it's really tough to move. You can breathe, but it's labored and it's really difficult. And that, like, trying to wiggle out, trying to improve, trying to get through it. And for me, and I'm actually just coming out of one of these stages, these moments where life feels like that. And, some people might call it depression, or I'm not sure exactly what it is called, but we have these ebbs and these flows. It's storm almost, just raining down on us. That tree just not crushing us, but making it so difficult to move. But then there's these bright lights. And for me, this song "Honest" by Kyndal Inskeep, I hope I didn't ruin that, was one of those bright lights. And I'm going to shut up and just play it for you, and so you guys can listen to what I'm talking about.
Every time I walk out of the house, put on another face just to blend in with the crowd, so nobody sees me. You would never believe me. I tell you that I'm whole, but I'm still healing. I tell you that I'm happy, but I'm grieving. Thought I was a fighter, I'm still in the fire. But if I'm being honest, I'm not being honest. I'll give you roses, just hoping you don't see the weeds in my garden. If I'm being honest, I'm at my darkest. I'm sitting here waiting and praying for someone to show me what love is. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest.
So as I was just coming out of one of those storms, for me, it was this reminder that this too shall pass. And I think we've all had that moment, like where either you're driving or you're sitting in a storm, and all you have to do is just a few things, and eventually it's going to subside. And so for me, what I had to really, what the song brought out of me is that, like she says, like, if I'm being honest, I'm not being honest. And for me, I know far too often that's just who I am. Like, oh, I'm fine, but deep down, like, nah, you're not, bro. And I'll go line by line and then kind of let you feel and hear and see what she's saying.
I'm not being honest.
Not being honest.
I'll give you roses, just hoping you don't see the weeds in my garden.
So I've heard this song a ton of times. Me and Ava have listened to it, and she loves that line. I love it. Like, I'm giving you roses so you don't see the weeds in my garden. Man, how many times have we tried to take care of someone else, look out for someone else? And not that we don't want that reciprocated, but it's just really tough for us. For me, I'm definitely that person. And I'm starting to, something like this video is a sign that I can be a little bit more honest about who I am and what I'm going through in those moments, those storms that are raining down. But, oh man, that just hits. And then she continues with,
I'm being honest. I'm at my darkest.
and we know those people who can be bright and be helpful and want others. I think when you have seen dark, you have this idea and this feeling that you want to help others. And there's that old quote, like, hurt people hurt people. I actually like the idea that hurting people hurt people, because when you've actually tried to deal and not even rationalize, but figure out what makes you tick trauma-wise, and then once you get a handle on it, I think you want to share that with so many people. I think a lot of my fitness journey, my relationship with others, and dealing with things from my past, once I've gotten to the point where yes, I understand those things happened, but they aren't happening. And kind of getting other people to that point has been so fulfilling, because when you've been in that storm, like, shit sucks. But once you're out of it and you can watch it from a distance, it it feels so good to share those lessons. Or not that everyone is going to benefit exactly, but the fact that there's hope, the fact that there's another shot. Damn.
I'm sitting here waiting and praying for someone to show me what love is.
I'll be honest, this is the only part that I'm not fully committed to, is that I have to wait for somebody else to come and help me out with it. I think for me, what I've learned is having others to help is amazing, but at the end of the day, you are ultimately responsible for getting yourself through it, because you can't always rely on somebody else. You can't sit around and wait for somebody else. And although I love the song and I understand the sentiment, like, in relationships, for sure, maybe you've been through so many bad ones that, like, finally you met someone that helped you through the darkness. But I would honestly go ahead and say that person that you find that you're waiting on is you. Just with skills or discipline, maybe it gets you over the hump.
Just being honest.
I'm going to let this fade out. So for me, I think what the two things that I've seen have really helped are finding the 5 to 10 things that help you through the storm. For me, I have 10 things that if I do them every day, things will get a little bit better. I mean, I saw this quote from Jim Carrey, and essentially it's like, yes, depression is real. These miserable feelings that we might have, they're not non-existent. They're not something you just put on a shelf and act like, like, I don't have this, or I'm not feeling this. The feelings we can't avoid. You may compartmentalize, you may ignore, but the feelings we can't stop our feelings. We can change or manipulate or control some of our reactions. But when you feel love, when you feel hurt, when you feel fear, those things, they're instantaneous. What you do after is within your control, but we're going to feel. And so for me, when I'm in these moments where it's just pouring down, or when that tree is crushing me, I have to stick to the 5 to 10 things that I know are good for me, right? So for me, it's eating well, getting sleep, doing mobility, reading, or having some type of positive influence on me, like something like this song. Just 5 to 10 things that I know are going to help me through the storm. And then the other thing for me is, for me, it's faith in myself. I think I find solace in the fact that my hardest day has not defeated me. And so if this is not my hardest day, I have faith that I can get through it. I think it's interesting when people have religion or some type of, I don't want to say out of body, but some type of external thing that they can look to, and like that, I have faith in X. And so for me, it's internal. Like, I have faith in me because my worst day has not beaten me. I do understand how external faith can be just as powerful, if not, because you feel like you're putting it in someone else's hands. And if you trust in those hands, just like hopefully Ava trusts me, like she knows that she can put her faith in me. So there's actually a really great story. Sorry, this is a sidebar, but me and her are on this jet ski, and she's nervous, and I whisper in her ear, I'm like, hey babes, like, you're with me, nothing can happen to you, and you're with me, you're gonna be good. And it was a moment that for me kind of just came and went, and constantly she brings that up, where like, no dad, I'm with you, I know I'm good. And right now, because so much of her world is controlled by me, she feels like she can put that external faith, but I do eventually want her to understand that she has gotten through her worst day. And so along with the 5 to 10 things that we know that we can do that can just helps, right? Like, don't give up. Don't give in. Do those 5 to 10 things, and eventually the compound effect, I think, brings us out of the storm. The storm it's going to pass, and we know that. And then having that faith, whether it's in you, whether it's in external faith, having those 2 things, I think, really ends up helping us. Shout out to Kyndal for the song and the Song House, and for everyone who took the time to listen, because this is one of those things where, like, I think it will be helpful for others, but also it was rocking with me. Like, it definitely was something that I needed as well. So I really appreciate that. The next time you're in the storm, when you feel like you're being crushed, when you cannot breathe and cannot move, focus on what you can control. Those 5 to 10 things on a regular basis. And then the mental aspect, knowing that this too, you can get through, because nothing has defeated you yet. Take care and be well. First, wherever you're listening or watching, thank you. But just a heads up, if you're watching this on YouTube, these episodes come out earlier on the podcast. So we're on any podcasting forum. So any podcasting forum. So make sure to go and check us out and subscribe there, and even rate if you like it. If you want to see what is actually going on, please click the link in the description here, and you can check us out on YouTube and see exactly what is. And I don't know who us is, but eventually there will be some us's. Thank you for listening.